I do not encourage nor condone any of the actions performed or products shown in this video. All of the videos are produced in a safe and controlled environment. Do not attempt to replicate any of the actions performed during this video.
Hello beautiful people from the internet, it is Connie over here. Welcome back to another video, and welcome back as well to another edition of Smoking in My Room at Night. I am still not exactly sure what I'm going to be talking about today, but I rolled two of these skinny bad boys by hand, obviously without the help of any machine, as you can probably tell. And I'm just going to be relaxing for a little bit, talking about some topics that I've been thinking about and just having a great time overall. So, shall we do it? I have been becoming more of a fan of rolling my own cigarettes simply because I can control how much tobacco I put in them, and I usually enjoy a skinnier cigarette, so here it is. You know, the other day I was thinking about what my favorite state of being is, as in what is the emotion or feeling that I'd like to feel the most throughout my life, you know? I was thinking about this because I want to make changes according to that. So once I find my favorite feeling, how can I pursue that feeling as best as I can in a healthy way, you know? And I ended up reaching two conclusions. I have two states of being that I like to be in equally as much, which is contentment, which I will be working on throughout the rest of my life, you know, just the state of being content in any and all situation, fully accepting what is going on and enjoying it for what it is, you know, just being content, you know, not looking for anything more, not looking for anything less, just whatever it is, that's what it is, and that's where I want to be, you know. Working on that, I think it's going to be a lifelong process, of course. One does not become content from one day to the next. However, I very much like that to be the case, but I guess it's a lot more fun if it's something that you have to work on a little bit every day than something that you just decide and you achieve, you know. But the second feeling that I was thinking about, and I'm not sure if this is an emotion or a state of being, but that is hope, or being hopeful, you know. I was going on a walk the other day, and it was the first day of sun in around a month and a half. It had been raining and gloomy for weeks and weeks and weeks on a row, and this was a Sunday afternoon, and I went to the park because I was also enjoying the sun. And I was met with hundreds of people. I had never seen this park so full. There were people of all ages, children, teenagers, elderly, normal adults, premium adults if you will, dogs of all ages, babies and grown-up dogs and elderly dogs, and they were all playing around. Everyone was doing some sort of activity together. Kids were playing together, teenagers were hanging out by the park benches, just having some snacks, having some coffee, and I just felt so hopeful in that moment. And I'm not exactly sure why that was, and I've been thinking about it. I think it's because seeing so many people look so cheerful and talk to one another makes me believe that maybe the world isn't so bad after all. Now, I used to be a very pessimistic, negative person, and I have been shifting that around quite a lot over the past years. I would say I've become a overall positive, joyful person, you know, most of the days. Of course, I have my off days, but everyone has those. It is what it is. But I feel like with social media and just the amount of information that we are exposed to, and sometimes you go outside and it's a gloomy day and everyone is kind of looking gloomy and sad and angry and stressed and rained on and all of these things. And when this goes on for a prolonged period of time, once you've been exposed to enough shocking bad news and all of the things that are going wrong in the world, you start feeling like there's really no hope and there's nowhere to go from here but worse. And on that Sunday afternoon, I looked at everyone and I just stopped in the middle of the park and I was looking around. I must have done a 360 walk-in, and I was just smiling. I was just like, look, maybe it's not that bad after all, you know. And then this made me think, what makes me feel hopeful, you know? What are some things that I can witness or do every day that will give me a little bit of a sense of hopefulness, you know? And at first I thought about big things like getting some really good news about some future prospect, a job that I've been offered, or a house that I could buy for very cheap that suddenly came on the market. That's not gonna happen. We all know how the market is these days, but you never know. But then I started to think, you know, hopefulness cannot come from just big events. It didn't come from a big event on that Sunday afternoon. It came from just looking at everyone having fun and being cheerful, you know? So what are some things that I find to be really, really hope-inducing to me? And then I started thinking about smaller things. I thought about looking at my plants and watching my plants grow. It makes me feel very, very hopeful to see something developing and growing into something different. You know, it shows me the passage of time. It shows me that leaves can wither, but then new leaves can grow again, beautiful, vibrant green, you know, which is a color that I love. Green always makes me feel hopeful. That's why I really enjoy being in nature and looking at the trees and being on the grass and stuff like that. I also feel really hopeful whenever I am walking down the street and I see somebody helping someone cross the street, either an elderly person or a blind person or something along those lines, you know, quiet kindness, I guess. The type of kindness that isn't loud, people are not throwing in your face that they did some good deed, you're just witnessing it happen, and that makes me feel very hopeful because it makes me understand that there is a lot of good inside of people's hearts. I feel very, very hopeful whenever I play music or I listen to music that I really like, and I wonder what types of songs I will enjoy in the future, music that hasn't even come out, music that has been out for hundreds of years and I just haven't listened to it, like some classical pieces that I'm still yet to discover. That is so exciting, and it makes me feel really, really hopeful about all of the prospects in regards to music that I still have to discover. I'm also going to light my second cigarette now. One of the things that makes me feel the most hopeful, and probably also one of the best feelings that I feel like a human being can feel, or at least one that I really enjoy, is feeling understood and being listened to. So whenever you're having a conversation with someone, that person is really listening to what you're saying and expressing, and they understand. They tell you, no, I understand, I've been through something similar and I know what you're feeling. I may not know exactly because I'm not you, you know, I don't have your genetic code and all of that, but I understand what you're saying and I can empathize with you. That makes me feel very, very hopeful, and being able to do that for other people as well, seeing somebody just light up when they suddenly understand that you are understanding them, you know, that you are listening to what they're saying with your full heart and you are acquiring all of this information. I feel really hopeful whenever I put effort into something new and I see my skill developing little by little, because it makes me realize that I'm very capable of a lot of different things, as we all are. It just gives me courage to keep trying new things, you know, to keep building new skills and learning things that I hadn't known about before. It gives me a lot of hope that I will continue on with my years and reach the end of my life with a lot of knowledge that is very positive and nice to share with others, you know. It makes me feel very nice. I feel very hopeful whenever I see a sunny day after days of gloom and rain. I feel very hopeful when I see the shadows of the leaves dancing, you know, when the sun is hitting them and you're looking at it on the ground and there's a lot of shadows just dancing around. I don't know why, but that makes me feel really good. Rays of sunshine in general, whenever you're watching the sunset in the horizon and there's a ray that's crossing some sort of cloud and you can fully see it, you know, rays of sunshine in general make me feel very hopeful. And you know, I have been struggling a little bit with thoughts about the future, uncertainty, not knowing where I'm heading, not knowing where I will end up, although there's no final destination other than death, of course. But more in the sense of what is going to be the main thing that I will be doing for the rest of my life. I guess I'm talking about career-wise in this sense. I feel very lost in that area, and sometimes I'm prone to hopelessness, thinking I will not be okay, I'm not sure what I'm super good at, and sometimes that gets me feeling a little bit sad. And I think I've just been thinking a lot about hope because I've been looking for it and I've been needing it a little bit in my life too. Feeling hopeful is it feels like you're vibrating at a very high frequency. It feels very good. I almost get this good anxiety, like my blood is boiling, but in a good way, you know, like I'm almost shaking from happiness. I don't know how to explain this very well, but whenever I feel truly hopeful, I just feel this immense desire to smile and jump around and run and do cartwheels, you know. That sort of feeling I really enjoy, and I've been looking for it in small little things in everyday simple life, you know. There's a lot to be hopeful about without having to have much, you know, just being able to go outside and listen to the birds. I mean, you have your vision, you have your ears that can hear pretty well, you have your limbs that can move, and you can walk around on your own accord to whatever you'd like to go, and that's something to be very hopeful about, you know. You have all of these capabilities that you've had ever since you were born, and that is very beautiful, and I don't think we think about it enough because we've gotten so accustomed to be able to do these things that we deem as normal and natural. But it's very good to acknowledge them here and there and just, you know, be like, look, I'm really grateful for this, and it gives me hope that with all of these functions that I have, I can do so many different things throughout my life, you know, and witness so many beautiful things. Just the fact that I can listen to music and witness the world with my own eyes gives me a lot of hope. I also asked you on Instagram what are some things that make you feel hopeful, and these were your answers, and they were very beautiful, and I loved seeing your guys' perspectives as well. I feel like I've just been feeling a lot more hopeful these days ever since I've been looking for hopefulness more, and it's been feeling really nice, and I'm going to keep looking for it in the smallest things and finding hopefulness in even smaller things that maybe I'm not even acknowledging or realizing now. And I'm really happy about that perspective, and I'm really hopeful that I get to find so much hope in the world, you know. There is still so much good out there, and I'm going to be focusing on that more than I'm focusing on the negative. And yeah, I guess that was what I wanted to chat about today for a little bit, and I'll see you all very soon, my friends, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your days. And that's it. All right, bye.